The day now is the 3rd of July 2021. PVH explaining virus in effect part 2. The intention was not to have part 2, but we had no choice but have part 2. We stop at 10 o'clock today also for the blessing. How to heal with PVH. How you can heal, and before we start healing with PVH, you need to understand about the virus. Before even that, you must understand about the physical body, how the defense system works, what is required for defense system work. It's all very important basic things. Without knowing that, you cannot do all of these things. Don't go and learn some healing and then not knowing what is all happening in your whole system. You don't even know where pancreas, where the thymus gland, where's the tonsils, where's the adenoids. You don't even know all of these things, and you expect to be a healer. No. You want to be a serious healer, you must know all of these things. Which one is not working? And then with the PVH sensing technique, you can able to find out which organ is working, which is operating, whether it's a virus active or virus dormant. All that can be found with the healing wand from your energy body cell. How many virus active, how many bacteria, any fungus, where is it in the liver, is it in the urinary tract or in the respiratory tract or the digestive tract? All that you can find out. Okay guys, so thank you very much for joining part 2, day number 358. We are very close to 365 days. Very close, not very close, very soon. And I have a surprise for everybody on that day. Surprise to many people on that day. Thank you. PVH virus and its effect. Thank you. Now, let's start. This present and founder's view does not support any individual belief system. Okay? Remember this, huh? Okay, let's go. Okay guys, thank you very much. Now, today's works are people who think they are body, mind and soul. Remember this guys. If you think you're only in the body and mind, then it's a waste of time. If you put yourself and say, I am this, I am the rich man's son, I am a rich man. All that, don't go with the soul after that. Only your ego will go and pull it down. Okay? So please be careful what you say. Next. Please, no touch, no mental prana therapy. Anyone over 5 years old can learn and heal themselves and heal others, as well as do distant healing. Okay? Now, our vision, as usual, we want every family happy and healthy with a healing wand. Next, we believe all people are made in the image of God can heal themselves easily. Next, have the birth of human prana while healing shall be available to everybody regardless of race, gender, religion and caste and creed. We will give this to anybody. In the poorest of the poorest, the deepest part of mother, if they want, we will send it. Okay, right. Prana healing is for all. Every home should have a healing wand. Okay, right. So we want to give this to everybody on the Mother Earth, the smallest place, everywhere we want to go and help everybody. Thank you. Next, PVH the poorest of the poor. Okay, PVH for the poorest of the poor. I think we should make this into a word, huh? Put a trademark. PVH is for the poorest of the poor. or prana is for the poorest of the poor. Yes, it was given by Mother Earth, the divine Sun and Mother Earth, and we should get it freely. It's just that we must teach people how to receive the prana. That's all. Of course, you can go and learn all kind of meditation, all kind of healing modality, but they have to pay. They have no money to pay. That's the whole trouble. They're so poor, they are not able to manage this. Okay, right? That's what he said. Which is the poorest of the poor. Right. Next. What's the body? All of these things of the body. Right. Next. We want PVH wants everyone to be pain-free. Every animal to be pain-free. Every plant need to be pain-free. That's our intention. Okay. Right. Type of pain: physical, emotional, mental, and ultimately spiritual pain. Okay, remember, your body wants to heal itself. Is health really in your hands? Yes, it has to be in your hands. It's simple, just follow PVH simple guidelines. You and your family can become healthier and stay healthy. Okay? Thank you. And then stay healthy. Stay healthy and stay safe. Okay? Thank you, thank you, thank you. Right. We thank everyone for attending the workshop today. Let us make the workshop a more meaningful one. Treat me like a brother, like a friend, like someone who may be able to help you in some way. May be able to help you in some way. Maybe. Maybe. I don't know why I'm laughing. Maybe. You know, today I just made a video, you know. I'm going in the car. People are calling me and talking to me. I expect miracles and I'm talking to them and I'm going in the car. Wow, seriously, you know. I just had a video and I want to share with everybody how I go through in my life. You know, I have no private time. Everybody's calling me at one time. And sometimes people call me like a big boss. Wow, sir, you please pick up the call. Please. Why you never pick up a call? You know, so very, very stern, you know. Wow. And still I can make all this presentation. Very wonderful. Rules for the one. We will only heal religious people who cannot be healed with their healing system. We will have to sign a required PVH document in order for PVH to heal other religion people. This document will indicate you are coming to PVH because your system failed to heal you. Next, we will not heal Hindus who have white magic or astral red. Okay? Right. Now, all of you take the wands, please. This one we must do. Take the wands, please. This one we must do, huh? Must bless all the mothers of Mother Earth before we start. Okay? Right. Supreme God, Divine Father, Divine Mother, Higher Soul, Spiritual God, Helpers, Teachers, Healing Angel, Cosmic Wisdom, Borrow, all the Holy Angels, Cosmic Angel. Please make me instrument of this blessing. Use me in any way you can. Let the divine light, divine fire, divine healing energy go to each and every mother of Mother Earth. Let it go to all the mothers who are now struggling with morning sickness, bleeding from the placenta or bleeding, all going through premature labor pain, and also all waiting to deliver in the delivery room with so much of fear and all. Let it go to all the mothers of Mother Earth who are right now pregnant and delivering or going through a difficult time. Let it go to each and every mother on Mother Earth. Let it go to villages. Let it go to any part of Mother, even the remotest of village of Mother Earth, where there's no doctors or there's not even a man wearing uniform. So there are people like that all over the world, but we are not fine. In the Amazon jungle, in the Borneo jungle, deep into the jungles of all the countries. They call nomads. Let it go to each and every mother on Mother Earth. Let there be abundance of blessing all on. Let all the healing angels go to each and every one of them. Mother Earth, thank you, thank you, thank you. To the soul of Mother Earth, thank you, thank you, thank you. To all healing angels, to all the nature beings of Mother Earth, thank you for this blessing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, my friends, thank you very much for everybody. PVH and healing are given freely to all race, gender, and caste and religion. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, before we start and go on, let's understand the cell of our body first. See, there are lots of cells in the body, and that's where the virus is going to attack you. So we must roughly understand what this is all about, how the virus goes and grows your body and eat it up. They don't want to eat you guys. They just want to make babies and babies and babies. The size of a cell and a virus. It's like the sun and Mother Earth. Look at the size. This is how the virus looks like. And then go into a cell and eat it up. That's it. Eat up. How powerful this guy must be. So the cell must have its protection. And the cell will protect and give some signal out. And from the signal, our white blood cells will find them and they will come. But by the time it will be too late, especially when you're too much of toxic in the whole body and it's all lethargic, and the owner said, no la, I don't want to live la, I want to die la, no point of living la, my life is given up la, And that point of time, the white blood cells also will take a slow time to come. Yes, what's happening? Why are you calling me? Look at this virus. Never mind. Let him want to honor himself, want to go. Let him go. And all the white blood cells will be like this. The cell will be like that. So everybody, and the one powerful guy, this guy is the powerful guy. The virus, let's go. Everybody's relaxing. Everybody doesn't want to live and just go and whack everybody, This is what happens. So your mind is very important. Your thoughts are very important. You must have the oomph to say, I want to do it. Then you can work. But if your mind is like down, then every cell is also down. So we must understand the cells. What are the cells that we have? You see, basically we have got cells like this. The red blood cell, white blood cell, you've got a bone cell, then you've got ovum, the sperms. Sperm, millions of sperms are produced by the men. Ladies produce 1 or 2 eggs in every 28 days or 29 days. One egg, And then you got cells in the inner lining of the intestine. Then you got the nervous cell. There's some of them here. Then you got the muscle cells. And each as a cell has got its own way of working. They've got a nucleus, they've got a mitochondria, they've got a whole thing, they've got a whole family down there, and they're doing all kind of work. Each has got its own work to do. Like for example, right? So the immune system. Then you got the cells of the gastrointestinal, and some technology development. They're also developing. You got a skin cell, then you got handy tissue cells, then you got a brain cells, so many other cells. Then you got cells for the heart, for the muscles. Each one different, each one has got a different thing. The pancreas cell must produce insulin. One will produce glycogen. Then the stomach cell must produce uric acid, hydrochloric acid. The liver must produce own enzymes. Everybody is busy working. And then something comes inside, they all stop. Oh, what happened to this guy? It's like a big machine that all works and talks to each other. They all talk to each other in a different way, in a language by the nervous system. They're all talking. What happened? If something got to kidney, this guy will know, hey, somebody's disturbing our kidneys. And liver says, okay, wait, I got to do something about it now. They will send. They all talk to each other. Now you are the owner of this whole talking system, and you are screwed up. The whole thing gets screwed up. Everything works. The muscle, what you should eat, what you should not eat, what you should think, what you should not think. And they're all working by themselves, especially when you're sleeping. When sleeping, your mind is shut down. They're all taking turns each other, talking to each other, and finding a way to come out of the whole problem they're going through. Hey, am I too fast at translating? Can you guys follow? Am I talking too fast, guys? Everybody's talking to each other. It's like a big company. You got a CEO, then you got the directors, then you got coming down to managers, senior managers, assistant managers, to team leaders, and then you go right down to the bottom guy, then you got the driver. Everybody have to work for the company to work. The CEO is gone, everybody stands still for a while because no one can sign a check. CEO is not here, we cannot sign a check. He is the only one who can sign a check. So we've got to wait for him to come back. Like that. So each one has got responsibilities. So everything is like that. So the body system is working like that. And all of these things are working together. Immune system, the gastrointestinal system and everything. And they're changing and changing as you grow older and older. They're also growing old. Okay, move on. Cells of the human body, blood cells, intestine cells, muscle cells, liver cells, brain cells. All these started coming from one of the chromosomes from your mother and one chromosome from the father. They joined together in a helix form. And they all change according to what the genetic code is all about. The code is the one that makes all of these things work. Each one has got its own thing. So each the thing, the code is there, and each one has got its own vibration, and they will work accordingly. I'm the muscle. You can't take the muscle cell and put down here. You cannot put in the liver. You can't take the liver cell and put in the muscle. I'm a liver cell. I can't do work. But all coming from the coding of your mother's and your father's single strand. They join together to form a helix. Now the virus got single strand, just like your sperm and your mother's egg. Single strand. Now he's coming inside. He drill a hole, he goes inside. Whoa! Come on. He makes a much more. Single strand. Dang. And he leaves after that. When a cell dies, he leaves. He may be 1,000. From one guy to 1,000 guy. It can take very fast. It can take about 24 hours to become big. In that 24 hours, your immune system must get ready to come and fight. As they come out, they have to shoot and manage them all. Otherwise, they become more and more. Like that, like people say, oh, my oxygen is 95, 92. No, sir, it's now coming down. It's coming down. It's come to 30 now and 55, and they cannot do it. They're pushing the air inside, keeping them alive. Because all the cells eaten up, the immune system cannot fight it. How are they going to fight? So all the doctor is doing is just fighting the secondary infection, because there's no cure for our coronavirus, just prevention. Or your own body system must work. Now, if your body is full of thoughts and lots of things, I'm going to die. The moment before corona comes, you're dead. Oh, corona is coming. Oh my God, I'm going to die. You've got my friend, my mother, everybody. And then you automatically come down. Your mind is very important. Today we'll talk about that, okay? So now, the muscle cell, the liver cell, they're all different, but start from the two little things they call the DNA. The 23 chromosomes. Yeah. Right. Now, comes if they look at this guy. The complex guide to body cells, the brain cells, the lung cells, all coming from one fellow. All coming one fellow from your father's sperm and your mother's egg, and they come together and all of this in the form. Then come the soul. The soul is another fellow who will come down there and create all of these things and make it work. There's an intelligence on each and every cell. There's a vibration. The soul provides a vibration. Okay? Right. So now virus also affects plants. Okay, that one's finished. I hope you understand. Now virus also affects the plants. Yes, plant has got their own problems, That's how. Then you see how the virus become, you mutate and go everywhere. Okay, you see how it starts. Also made up of cells. Yes, they are made of cells. Yes, but only if they are rigid cells. They cannot change. Like this pump cell, I can move. Muscle cells, they can just sway. They cannot move. They break it up because of the wall. The walls are all very hard, very tight and rigid. We call them the cellulose. We are more flexible. You can press, it come back again. So we are made of cholesterol. Our wall of the cells are made of cholesterol, more flexible. But the plant, no, they're rigid. Okay, like this. You see all this, how nice they look like, so beautiful, huh? If you want to see this, take the leaf and show it under the sun. Show under the sun, and you'll see it beautifully. It's all the veins that carry all the food and the water, and take the food back again to the fruits, because the leaves are the one who makes the food. The leaves make the food. They get the oxygen and the carbon dioxide. They get the carbon dioxide and they make food and send the food to other parts for new leaves to come, and also to go and feed the roots to grow. So the whatever they produce here, they must go through these veins and go to the roots. Otherwise, the roots cannot. The roots can take water only, and the roots must take all the minerals and set it up. And these guys must take that and send it back in. So the big cycle going on whole tree. It's a big work. And then now it's fruiting season. I must make the fruit, and this guy must send everything to make the fruit, like a coconut. They must put the water and put the pulp, and they have to work. So they must get the water from the ground and put water inside. And you just cut and you drink. And you don't even say thank you to the coconut tree. They do so much work, my friend. You must come to Indonesia. 2 people can drink 1 coconut. India, 1 coconut, not enough. This big. Indonesia, bam, this big. 2 people have to drink it. That's the kind of coconut they have in Indonesia. India is smaller. Like that. So look at this out. Look at the intricate system. Each and every one little thing, everything is moving. Just like our blood system, like our capillaries. But what's there is the blood, which is their own blood, the sap. Call it the sap. The water and the sap, it goes inside all this potassium and calcium and minerals and sugar and sweet and everything else. You know how they make maple syrup? They go to the tree, they make a hole, and they put a thing, and it drip. The water will drip. And when the water drip, they go down. It's actually water coming from the plant for the roots, not up going down, from the top going down. Okay, when they go down, they take this now. They go and boil it. All the water go back, and what remains is your maple syrup. Maple syrup. Now the same thing happens on a rubber tree. You cut, the rubber comes out, and it slowly comes and starts pouring. You take this. That's why you make a surgical glove. You make all the rubber, all the cars, rubber and all. So all this coming from the plant. Right. Next. So this is what happens. This is how they are. When you look through a microscope, they're all nicely arranged, and they are all like rigid. They're rigid, and they cannot move. They're rigid, fixed. They can bend a little bit, but they cannot move and change the shape. That. This is how they look deep inside. Right. Then comes the inside. Okay. Now this is how they look like. Same thing. They got all the things. They got ectoplasm, mitochondria. They got all the chloroplast, cochlear apparatus. Same like the human. A little bit different, but the same thing. Basic energy, basic life. Basic life. Okay. So all of these things. Now another one like that. So cell structure. Heart wall. Cell wall is very hard. Cell membrane. So this is a fixed one. This is made of cellulose, and this one cannot be digested. That's why you have what we call as a fiber. The fiber will go out. Okay. Then you got a mitochondria. Then you got the nucleus. Same thing. Same like the human cell. Very similar. It's basic of life. Another one, plant structure. Okay. So remember, guys. So this is how the plant structure. And can you imagine the virus also attack this fellow? The virus will go and attack this guy and multiply again. Those guys are funny guys. They're really powerful people. See, look at how they attack. See how they attack. It's all virus infection. Virus infecting the plant. You can see this if you open a close eyes and look at the plant. They also have diseases. They got fungus growing on them. They got all of these bacteria growing on them. This is all virus infection. They kill them. Seriously, my friends. Some are very strong. So the plant have to find its own immune system to fight against all of these fungus and all. And when you don't have, that's when you spray all the insecticide. You spray the insecticide not to kill the virus, but to kill a caterpillar. It's put by the butterfly, so they will all come and eat everything. That's why you put a spray. You understand? So now this is what happens, Look at this. Look at all of these things, Back, you can see. You spend a little bit more time, you look at all the plants outside, they also attacked by all this virus and bacteria and the fungus all grow. You can even see at the back of the leaf. Sometimes they have protection so that they don't get eaten by this thing. And banana leaf is very, very strong. At the back of banana there's a protection, and there's a wax on top, the leaves will fall down. So this is all protection so the insects don't come and eat them or the virus cannot go inside. They have to protect themselves also. Now, remember, this is the food chain. The leaves and the plants are the food chain from the bottom. From there it goes up, right up to you. It starts from the bottom, leaves, plants, insects, birds, cows, animals, pig, and all, and finally you eat them. So the basic thing, it starts from the food chain, starts from the plants. Okay, guys? So they come from the plants. So the plants are, so if the plant is unhealthy, your animal is going to be unhealthy. If your animal is unhealthy, you are going to be unhealthy. This is how it works. Because the animal come and eat, he doesn't see whether it's got virus, he just eats. So its immune system must kill all of these things. When it cannot kill, that's when it gets in trouble. It falls sick. Animal will fall sick, eating the wrong leaves, which have been contaminated by some kind of bacteria or virus or fungus. So their immune system must be very, very strong. The insect has got its own immune system, like that. So, next, plant and insects. Plant and the insects will feed on these plants. The insects will come and eat the grasshoppers, the mosquitoes, everything come and eat them. Mosquitoes take the sap. Okay, you will understand in a short while. Okay, but most of them eat the leaves or like that. Next is how they eat. They go long sDRNA. They go and make a hole inside. They get all the sap. So now the virus get infected through these animals, and now this animal is going to be eaten by a bird or another insect, and something it goes like a cycle. So that's how the virus can propagate from plant to human being if the DNA or the RNA is enough to match with our RNA. If they don't match, they cannot. They have to match. Like when you have a chicken and a duck, they can't make love. They make love, the eggs will not come out because the DNA doesn't match. That's why you never find people mixing a duck and a chicken together. Chicken, yes. Duck, yes. Wild duck, home duck, yes. Wild chicken, home chicken can. But duck and chicken, no. Lion and tigers can. No problem. Cat and tiger cannot. No, not the same size. Okay, guys, understand? Good. Like that. You see how this guy is doing? He's eating up the food thing. The saliva goes inside and come back again. So sometimes the virus can go inside these guys. The salivary gland. Plant virus circulate through the insects. You see how they circulate inside. They go to the gut and they fly. And who's going to eat them? Some birds will eat them. And what eats the bird? Like that. It goes like a cycle. Or the cow will come and eat the whole leaves. And together with the insects or also the virus is now going into the stomach. Now, if the stomach of the cow does not digest it or kill them, they get in the intestinal tract and also into the tract of the blood system and go all over the system. Because when the cow eats, even eat all of these fellas. It just dang. Elephant even better. Eat the whole thing, whatever inside, all goes inside. Insects and ants and all will go inside. It doesn't care. Right. Then comes these guys. See how they're doing. This is how they do. This is how they sit on the leaf and take the sap. They eat the sap. The sap is carbohydrate. This sap is the one going to make the fruits. So it's very nutritious. So they make a hole and they start drinking them. Like this. Now all the babies are there. Small guys. Okay? So when something eats them, they eat the whole thing. All goes into the hole, in the digestive system of the animal. Right. Now look at this guy. Who can name? What's the name of this? Anyone knows the name of this mosquito? I'm going to say, how many of you know the name of this mosquito? Anyone knows the name of this mosquito? Let's see how many of you can find. Open your eyes, my friend. Who is Atma Namaskaram? Who is this? Mari. Atma Namaskaram. Can anyone tell me? I'm waiting for the answer. What is this insect? Who is this? Rosario. Aedes mosquito. Yes. Dengue. No, sir. The name of the disease, dengue. This fella will give you chikungunya, will give you dengue, will also give you, that's the other one, Zika. This fella, funny fellow. Have you seen them before? It's not dengue, madam, it's Aedes mosquito. Tiger, Laura Rojo, no Raja. Yes, he looks like a tiger. You will never find this mosquito in a country. You will find it in our country. At 6 o'clock in the evening, just go stand, it will come to you. When it bites you, there's a good chance of you getting dengue fever, not Zika and chikungunya. Zika has not come here yet. I don't think Zika is here. It's still in Brazil. So it doesn't come here. This is the one mosquito is found all over the world, especially the tropical world. From Brazil to Malaysia to Singapore and all of these places, even India. How can this guy cross the level? How did he cross and go over to these countries? How did he do? How did he cross and went? It's a weird thing, right? How can it go? This is what happened. And who is his enemy? Dragonflies. Dragonflies eat them, catch them and eat them. Dengue mosquito. Anopheles, no madam. Anopheles, no. Anopheles give you malaria. Dengue fly, no. Dengue, no. Yes, dengue. Dengue is a disease. It's a disease caused by this particular mosquito. You look at all the lines he has. Beautiful fellow. I've seen him a lot in my house. They'll come. Die. I go around just catching them. Otherwise, these guys, you see, in the daytime, the male mosquito and the female mosquito depend on the food from the leaves, the sap. When they mature, they fly, they look for blood in order for them to make the eggs for the babies. So only the female mosquito is biting you. And if you're O negative or O positive, you just go, they will come to you. Wherever I go, I get all the mosquitoes because I'm O negative. They will just come. They think I'm a freeloader. Lord, everybody, small fly, big fly, all the mosquitoes will come. Automatically, pam, boom, pam, boom. So others, they don't bite. We are givers. All people are givers. We give everything. Jennifer, yes, Aedes, Malaysia, malaria, sir. Mr. Selva Kumar, malaria is a protozoa. It's not a virus. But at the same time, it's also being done by this guy. Okay, so everybody got Aedes is right. Dengue, yes, dengue is a disease only by mosquito. Yes, thank you very much, guys. Okay. Now next. These insects are eaten by other animals such as birds and bats and etc. You know, that's how the disease spreads. So you can say maybe it came from the leaves and from the insects. And from the insect they went to animals and animal again eaten by human being. That's why we're going to talk today. How these things all come. Okay, like that. You see? Now all the country of COVID they say from the bat, the pangolin and the human being eat these guys. Human being eat everything. This fella will eat the shit. He doesn't eat, the pangolin doesn't eat animal. It eats only ants. Ants are found normally in the droppings of the bat. So when the ants are there, this guy goes, he doesn't eat animal. He eats everything and he goes inside. And this fellow, the human being, eat this fellow. Human then becomes human to human transmission. By talking, by touching, fecal, by the shit. You don't shit properly, you don't get rid of them, they can all come back again. With a big flood. When a big flood, all the shit comes out from everybody's house. That's when you have another pandemic. Cholera or bacteria is terrible. Flooding is the worst. All the toilet things all come up and go out. And people cannot shit. Where do they shit? Where will they shit? Whole house is flooded. So this time the shit can go everywhere and cause so much harm. The shit of a human being has got all kind of bacteria. Seriously, tapeworms and protozoas and all. If you're not clean. Okay. Especially when you eat all the bat and eat all the pangolin, eat all these monkeys and eat all these snakes and all, you know. And all of this shit will be bad. Right. Next. Now, Zula disease, same thing. SARS. They found it's coming from the bats. And then the cave cats. They live in the cave. They go. And then sometimes from the rice, rodents. From the rats. Rat will eat all the fleas and then go down to the human beings and then come from the monkeys. And you know, people eat monkeys, in some countries. Just like that. I'll show you today. Then come from the antelope. From the antelope come from the camel. MERS was from the camel. The bat, sometimes the bat will bite this bat. The bat will actually go, it's a vampire bat. They go and bite the camels and they suck the blood. They even bite the cows. So imagine the teeth of all these bats are so poisonous and lots of bacteria and viruses, and they will go to the animal, and the animal will have flu, and the animal also having flu, and you are going to people, and people catch it and go somebody else. So MERS was in the Middle East. They call it Middle East Respiratory Syndrome. Middle East. It comes from the Middle East, So this is all how animals can carry all of these things and go all the world. Transfer from animals, rodent, plague, Streptococcus suis, anthrax, flu, rabies, Ebola, HIV, SARS, MERS. We have virus, we have bacteria, we have virus, avian flu from birds. And the birds are flying, migratory birds flying everywhere, eating all the insects. And this is how they all come. Okay, guys? Remember this. So stop eating all of these zoo animals. Just be normal. Keep yourself clean. Snake, bat, crow, squirrels, everything. Even turtle, people eat turtles from the ocean. Wildlife zoo begins with a research net, all kind of stuff, So please understand, my friend. Most of the time, animals, leave them alone. Don't try to eat exotic animals. It's not necessary. Even the one that we eat, all the chicken and all the beef and all, we don't know how is the condition of the farm. The farm can be very nasty. Okay, good. From cattle. What disease comes from cattle? You guys know? What disease from cattle? It's called mad cow disease and foot and mouth disease. It's all coming from the cattle. Like that. So look, mad cow disease. Look, how the mad cow, bovine spawn epilepsy, a mad cow disease appears in cause of fatal human brain disease. The virus can find the way to the brain. Look at this guy. They just want to eat your brains. Or they want to multiply from the brain. They're not going to enjoy the brain. Another fellow says, I want to eat the platelets only. Another fellow said, I want to only eat your T cells, your immune system, I want to eat that. I am not interested in anybody else. One fellow says, this is COVID says, I am only interested in your lungs. Very picky fellows, So now everybody's like, see? So sometimes when people eat the animal can be contaminated, the spinal cord. People, I know sometime, long time back, they like to eat the inner part of the bones. They pull, they put and start eating. They put a small spoon and dig it out, and they put everything to bring, even the chicken also. That's the best part of the chicken, the bone marrow. But imagine this is where all the things will be at. This is where all the viruses will be hiding there because they go in the blood system. Okay, and you cannot drink. Sometimes when I go to the Chinese shop, they got this chicken chops. When you cut the chicken, the blood inside is still red color. Oh my God, it's still red color. It's not even cooked. And people like to eat the red blood, and that blood can go and cause a lot of issues. I still remember when they cut the goat or the chicken, they get the blood and they cook the blood for you. And the blood contains everything: urea, sugar, all the hormones and enzymes and all. In fact, when you go and buy the liver of an animal, you can smell the urea. Prevention: destroy animal farm animals. Destroy all the farm animals. That's it. And don't use contaminated with or you cannot eat the system that has got the brain or the nervous system. Destroy infected farm animals. That's all. Destroy them. Mad seizure months of years after infection. Cow begins mad seizure. Okay, so imagine how this all is suffering. This brain can go into your brain and create tiny holes like sponge. The virus goes and eat up your brains like holes everywhere, and you lose everything. So please be careful, my friend. And this is what happened to the cow. It loses all his ability to do its work. It cannot move the legs all. It just fall down like this. They all fall down like that. It cannot walk because the brain, the control system is not working. So how did they eat how did they go to these cows? They were only eating grass. So it must have come from the grass or something like that. The insects in the grass, So this is what I'm trying to say. Sometimes please be careful. Then comes all the beautiful beef. And you eat the beef, and the beef is all like raw. You can even see the part. It's not with this one. This is even better. You can see all that thing. This one is even better. You see. So it's like that. So the blood is still there. That means whatever bacteria or virus is still alive in the blood system. They only cook the top part and the bottom part. They leave all this empty. Sometimes they said, I want it to be raw, or well done, or semi-raw. I don't know what kind of name they have, for the meat. So only the top part is thing. But that's all. You can cut. You can see the juice flowing down. So that's all the bacteria and all the virus. What if you have a mad cow virus there? And you eat, it goes into, you find its way to the brain, and that's it. You become mad. So please be careful when you eat all of these things like this, where it's all raw. Look at that. Oh, it's very sad, my friends. Very sad. Now comes the other people from Maasai, the Maasai of Africa. No, they make a hole. You know what this guy is doing? You punch a hole to the cow in the veins and a hole, and they fill up with the blood and they start drinking. You know, this cow would have been bitten by so much of ticks, so much of flies, which went somewhere there, and they come down there, they bite the thing, they take blood, and now this guy is taking the blood now, so the blood can be contaminated. The cow is contaminated. Now he's going to drink it now. He's going to contaminate himself. Then he's going to go around and contaminate the whole village. He might shit in the jungle, and they must come out from there, from the thing. When rain comes or water comes, he gets the thing. Or he's touching it, going back home, he's going to kiss his wife. He's going to have sex with his wife. And all of this is going to happen. Now this house is all trouble, you know. This guy really drink the blood. There, they're taking the blood now. And they drink it. So you're drinking pure blood. Of course, the blood is healthy and what not, but it comes with everything. The bacteria, the viruses, could be HIV virus in that fellow, could be a mad cow disease, anything. Influenza virus going down there. And then they will start to drink. They have a party. They'll all have a big party down there. All drink because he's drinking now. Come on, let's drink. See how sad it is. They're depriving of the cow. Who is the vampire? These guys are the vampires. You don't need the vampires of the bat to come anymore. This guy said that. So then the bat will also bite this cow. At night, the bat will come and stick on there and start biting and taking the blood. No joke. Seriously. It's called vampire bats. Not the one like Dracula, you know, the 2 holes. No. They will come at night, they will go to the cow, they hit, and then they take the blood from the cow. It's called vampire bats. Now if that guy, that bat is contaminated, this cow will be contaminated, and if this guy drink, that's how the disease is spread. Who's saying, please forgive us, forgive the cow, please forgive the cow. You see, how many blood? 1, 2, 3, 4. How much of blood will come from that? Can you imagine? Who is it? What's that? Hello?
Sir, in my country, as you know, Uruguay, we eat a lot of meat.
Yes.
Classical. It's the food we eat. And, of course, they kill them in terrible ways and the animals suffer. But also, on top of being foot and mouth disease, which is called aftosa in Spanish, there are other very terrible diseases that come from eating the raw or almost undercooked meat.
Yes.
Which
Yes.
are some parasites.
I'm sure.
That go into your guts and you die a very, very painful death, sir. It's horrible.
What's the name of that?
I can't remember now, but as soon as I remember, I will write it down. Now it's being controlled because they don't allow certain parts of the meat. Because in Uruguay here, we eat the guts, we eat everything. And we used to eat brains too. It was a delicacy when I was young. But
Cow's
now
brain.
they're not allowed to sell them.
Cow's brain, eh?
But they say, yes, the brains of the sesos, the brains of the animals. But sir, they say that the mad cow disease, as it is called, started because the poor cows were fed the food they were giving them was not grass. Just to have them there, standing there and get big, they were giving them the food that was made from the parts that were not used of the cows as well. So they were made the parts of the cows. So they were feeding cows.
My God.
See, and that is what caused the vaca loca, the crazy cow disease. It's very horrible what we humans are doing, sir. It's unbelievable. And in many countries we eat what we call morcilla. It's like a sausage done of the blood of the animal.
My
and
God.
it's a delicacy. And it's from ancestral times. And everybody eats it. It's very common.
You want to know one delicacy in Indonesia?
What, sir?
This cow is going to be slaughtered, okay? The day before it's slaughtered is fed grass, okay? It's fed grass, nice grass, some kind of a very special grass, okay? So it eat the grass, but you know it doesn't get digested because the cows have got 2 stomachs.
Yes.
So they will keep it there, okay? Then they will digest, go back, you know. In the morning when they kill the cow, these idiots will take the grass and eat.
Oh no, sir!
And And if you are a visitor, they will serve you. It is an honor to serve you their delicacy.
Oh, God.
So don't go to any weddings where they're going to sacrifice a cow. They're going to slaughter a cow. Don't go near that. You will be a specialist. You will be a visitor. They will want to give you the delicacy. You can imagine what delicacy is all about. The grass that's eaten by the cow, they will make you eat it. Half fermented.
Oh dear, sir. Well,
That's-
we do a little joke with.
No, it's not a joke. It's called the Karo people in Medan. Karo, not a Batak people.
No,
Karo people.
I know it's not a joke. But I'm saying that here in Uruguay, we do a little joke with visitors that don't know, because as people normally eat all the inside of the animal, and it's called, some part is the intestine, and it has a huge name. It's called chinchulines. And so people come and ask, what is this? Oh, is this the intestine? No, this is chinchulines. And after the end, yes, that's what the intestine.
Yes, they take the intestine and they put all the meat and make it round like that. Can you imagine how much of dirt and how much of bacteria will be there?
Exactly. Oh, dear.
And all this raw meat. You know, all the raw meat, I'm sure there's some parasite, even bacteria and all still alive.
Well, sir, in the pork meat, which you said is the worst meat we can eat, never to eat pork meat. PVH says it very clearly. But I learned that there are some parasites inside the pork meat, inside every part, not only the intestines or the brains, but the muscles everywhere. They have some parasites. That's why when you eat pork meat, you have to cook it very well to kill all that. And I'm not sure you kill them all. They're full of some.
Rosario, when you do a barbecue, how much well can you cook it?
Well, for some people, just one side and the other side.
Exactly.
Side,
You know, when Indian people cook the mutton or the sheep or the goat, they will cook for 1 hour. Suddenly put a pressure cooker, it cook 135 degrees C.
To be very sure that you kill.
No, that's all all Indian meats are very cooked, very highly cooked. So I don't think they can survive this high temperature,
Of course.
long time. No barbecue in the Indian way. Only chicken tikka is chicken tikka.
That we normally use. You were putting there exotic animals like pangolin and all that some people eat. But sir,
Yes.
it's not because of the poor animals. I think some human being just isolated this from the animals, and then it's not the market that somebody went and ate.
You know what is hold on. You know the Yok Hong Tan saying? Could it be they don't have supermarket to buy fresh milk? Hey, Madam Yok Tan, what are you? Huh? She's saying, could it be they don't have supermarket to buy fresh milk, so they drink the blood? Madam, this guy's a crazy fellow. These are the Maasai warriors. This first can stand and fight with the lion. It's the Maasai warriors. They're tall guys. They go around hunting.
But they don't have so much water.
Yes. Not water, Rosario. It's just that they need to have some good food. Blood is a good food for them. And these guys could have been transmitting so much of disease in all over the world. The Ebola and all kinds of stuff, all coming from there. The SARS, also Ebola and also HIV. It's all from Africa,
Well, but let me tell you that in the Andes, sir, the people that work there and go and have cattle, also when they start the roundup, I learned this from Luis, that he goes there to take pictures. When they start the roundup, the first one they kill, they get the blood and they all drink the blood to celebrate. It's like a delicacy.
Can you imagine?
Warm blood of the first bull.
Can you imagine?
And
Or blood of the firstborn.
So it's
Blood of the
not only
firstborn, They say blood of the firstborn.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
The
Rosario.
first bull that they killed.
First bull, huh?
Sir, may I ask you, is this done? Is this dear coronavirus isolated by a human being, or was it because of the pangolins and the bats?
Coming from animal, Rosario. 2 animals. 2 animals.
Right. But the human being had no in the lab. They did nothing. It was a natural
I
thing.
don't see the energy for
Somebody
that.
ate them?
I don't see the energy for that.
Oh, okay. Yes. Thank you.
I don't see anything for that. I just see 1, 2 animals.
Okay, so well, it's not good, but it's better.
Okay, bye.
Thank you, dear sir. Bye bye.
So that Rosario sharing how people from Uruguay, their big export is meat, cow's meat, big farm making meat and selling everywhere. People from Australia and also from New Zealand, they have a lot of sheep. They sell a lot of sheep, wool and meat, and of course milk. A lot of milk also from New Zealand. Ketar Singh, they drink blood to be brave. Whatever said, they can also spread disease. The cows were eaten by all kind of stuff and they get disease, huh? Okay, let's go on. Let's go on. Yeah, TV is fine. Okay, guys, now coming to another one. Now these other guys are all getting all kind of disease, hoof and foot and mouth disease. And slowly in my country, 2 years back or 3 years back, the foot and mouth disease came to school children. They had to shut down the school. Because children today are getting lesser and lesser immune. Because they have too much of junk food and too many things and messing themselves up with all kind of stuff, processed food. Okay, so they get easily. Those days you say, look at foot and mouth disease, coming to each and every part of the whole system, all the foot and mouth disease. It's a virus, that's all. Look at his mouth. So somebody can go near and they can also be affected by that. See how specific this particular virus is. Only the foot and mouth of the animal. That's it. I am not into anything else. Funny fellows. Now can also come the human beings now. Can also come the human beings. So please be careful. So human beings can affect, especially children. Their immune system very, very low today. Some of them don't even drink mother's milk. All of them are based on some kind of a milk from some kind of a formulated milk. So they don't have mother's milk. So the mother is supposed to give them a lot of things. Mothers are all working only for 2 months or 3 months or 2 months before they go to work, and they go to work and they give all these guys. In some of the poorer countries, I remember in Indonesia, the baby was born and she never had any milk, any kind of anyone. Only mother's milk for 2.5 years. There are some cases even for 5 years still drinking mother's milk. Funny fellows. Must be buffaloes. Still drinking mother's milk, So they never bought any milk because they can't afford the milk. So the mother is good, she eats good food, and she gives the milk to the children. Very interesting, very interesting, 5 years or something, okay? Like that. Now from snakes now. Can you imagine? Okay? Man and snake. Okay? Man eat rats. Snakes eat rats and frogs in the wild. Man in turn eat a snake. And also drink the blood, the raw blood of the snake. He says it's good for the spine. And then what happened? This is what happens. Everything. This is how in Indonesia. See how they sell the snake, Now this guy is snake selling. You put a snake down there, you can take a snake and just cut for you, and he gives the blood for you and you can drink it straight away. So imagine what kind of things will be there in the blood of snake. All the rat, the rodents, and all the frog, and all kind of disease, and now he will go back to his wife and he'll spread the disease to people who look at us. The shop in Jakarta. I just gonna figure out why they do this now. Look. This is the satay of the snake. Cobra snake. I can't imagine how people even think of eating such things. Just even think of eating this. I just cannot imagine. Why do they even want to eat this kind of stuff? It's very sad. Why man has become like this. These are the cause when nature is so angry with these people, and this is what happened. Nature will send something and everybody will go, but people never learn. They never learn. It's how it is. See, soup. What soup you want? Satay. No, all is available and the snake is there. They will cut in front of you. The snake, they'll cut the snake in front of you. Okay? Then from bats. Man and bat. What? Okay, then comes the bat. Okay, bat eat insects. Sometimes drink the blood of the animal. And then you eat them. You eat them. Huh? So what happens? When you eat the insects, and then it's growing up, and you eat the fruit back, of course, you eat the fruits, then you eat insects, and then now you go and eat them now. That's what happens. Now you are the cause of this all the disease. It's a mammal. See, look at the market, bat market. Can you imagine how much the bats are there? Look at the mouth. Look at the mouth, how they are. Real vampire. You see? So proudly displaying the bat is going to sell you. He cuts for you and sell it to you one. Why do people even eat these things? I don't understand. Why is the meat? You know why? That it's good for asthma. I don't know who the hell started this, and every fella is going around looking for a bat because it's good for asthma. Come on, guys. What's wrong with the people? I just cannot figure out what's wrong with the people. Good for asthma? Come on. Look at it, guy. Look, how many bats are there? Is it so sad? Whoa. They put some models to make them eat, to show how beautiful they are. Like a bat soup. I wish Batman see this. Batman's going to be very angry. Batman, how can you eat my people? Batman should come there and kick all his ass. Look.
The Kerala government has confirmed that 10 people who died in the last week had Nipah virus encephalitis, a rare but emerging infectious disease. Though it has killed 10, the Kerala Health Department says there is no outbreak of the disease yet. But what do we know about Nipah?
Nipah is from
The World Health
Malaysia.
Organization calls Nipah a newly emerging zoonosis, which is a disease that can be transferred from animals to humans. It was first identified during an outbreak in Kampung Sungai, Nipah in Malaysia in 1998, which is where its common name also comes from.
Nipah.
Nipah causes fever and cold-like symptoms in its patients that quickly advance to encephalitis, which is the inflammation of the brain, and myocarditis, which is the inflammation of the heart. Because its symptoms are similar to Japanese encephalitis, it has in the past been mistaken for that disease. Currently, there is no vaccine or cure for Nipah infections, and treatment is restricted to intensive supportive care of patients till the symptoms subside. The virus's natural host is a fruit bat, although the virus has also been spread through pigs. The infection spreads from fruit bats that drink sap of date palm trees to people who drank raw date palm sap as toddy. The Nipah virus cannot be spread through air. Instead, it is transmitted through contact or bodily fluids. Anyone who is suspected of having the disease should be isolated right away, since even coughing or sneezing could transmit the infection. After first emerging in Malaysia, Nipah has seen multiple outbreaks in Bangladesh with a number of fatalities. There have been 2 outbreaks in India, both in West Bengal districts close to Bangladesh. 71 people were infected in these 2 outbreaks, with 50 dying. The health department and doctors in Kerala say there is no need to panic since there is no outbreak yet. Bangladesh's experience with the disease has been to see more infections from December to May, stopping when the rain arrives, which is a positive sign for Kerala that the monsoon is around the corner. While there is hope this disease may be contained, India has another bigger healthcare headache.
You know, this Nipah virus came from Malaysia. I was there. It is near where I stayed, in Port Dickson. You know, it came. You know how they eradicated it? Kill all the pigs. Kill all the pigs, the whole village. That village was having so many pigs. You know, and it was a bad sight. The shit of the pigs were there. They can't even flow out and cannot go down. There was no control at all. You know, one of my friends said, when the dead pig, the Singapore, they cannot sell. So when the pig dies for some reason, they sell to these hotels as minced meat. Seriously, dead pig, sell. They don't care, lower price. You know, so this was what happening to this place. So what's bad? And you know who was working there? People from Bangladesh. So they probably have gone back home and they would have carried the virus back to their homes, people. And then they go around and that's what they found. You know, this virus can be staying dormant in the body, and they thought, all because of Bangladeshis. I'm talking about 1998. Yes, seriously, I'm not joking. I've been to the village. It was really bad. It was so bad. The drainage system of the shit of the pigs was so bad that the whole place was full of hydrogen sulfide. You know, even whatever copper and all will turn black color. They'll all turn black in color because of the gas. The whole place goes down there. It was really bad, and people died. Many people died. So this one, a Nipah virus. The Nipah means it's a name of a tree, all from bats. Bat will probably come and bite the pigs to get the blood. Vampire bats, you know, and that's how they transmit them. And pigs are very dirty animals and they eat everything. You must see where they live. Very bad. From birds. From birds. So these are all the birds. Look at, why do they want to eat this thing? I don't understand. What is there in this animal to eat? There's hardly any flesh. You see what these guys do? They will go and catch, look how beautiful these birds are. They'll go and heat it up and then they'll go and sell. Oh, it's so sad, my friend. It's so sad. Why are people like this? And these people, these are the man is the biggest culprit when it comes to nature. That's why nature is very, very unhappy. They shut you down for 1 year. And all are suffering today. Look, how much a curse. This kind of thing happen. How will the nature curse? How will the nature curse people? Look, what is there to eat? Please tell me, I want to know, what is there to eat on this bird? What's it eat? I don't understand. Just some bones and some skin. Just some bones and some skin. That's all it has. Some bones and some skin. Who says very thirsty? Very tasty. Funny fellow. Katar Singh, very tasty. Nothing like Katar Singh, only bone. Orang Jakarta makan sate, ular. Yes. Yes, correct. Sir. They eat like it. Not all people in Jakarta. No, sir, my TV seems okay. Sir, TV is blurry. It seems to be okay. Yes, sir. Mr. Gopal, you remember, huh? We blessed and deactivated the Nipah virus during the time. You remember, huh? Yes, Mr. Gopal. Where were you, Mr. Gopal? Where are you from? Gopal P. Sudagar. Yes. We blessed and deactivated in 1 week all went off. 1 week all missing. I remember very well. Very good. You remember, huh? Sometimes we do something that people do not know, you know. Mr. Gopal says, PVH blessing deactivate Nipah virus during that time. Thank you, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, you're right. Now I remember. Yes, we made a point and let's all bless and deactivate, and we deactivated the virus. We have few viruses we deactivated in India. Also the swine flu, and also sometime we also deactivated the malaria, not malaria, the dengue virus. Okay, guys. Look at these guys. They took all the trouble to just go get some nest. The bird's nest. And the bird's nest is the bird is spitting and making a bed. The bird cannot come down to the ground. It cannot pick up the leaves or the stem to make a nest. So it works on the saliva. So that saliva is what people take and they cook it and they eat. First, it's good for the asthma, for the lungs. So what is wrong with these people? And it costs so expensive. This is how they are. They pack so expensive. They clean up and they sell it. It's a big market. And they make soup like this and drink. Bird's nest, they say. Ayyo. Then comes the beautiful mosquito. Look how. It just take about, maybe it's about a month and a half. They put so many eggs. And then they become a larva. Then they become a pupa. And then become eggs again. Can you imagine how many eggs they give? My God. Hundreds of eggs. One fly can give hundreds of eggs. And this mosquito does all the harm. The Aedes is the one guy that's all the harm. Aedes, this guy. This guy. You know? And then it feeds on plant sap and then on blood for laying her eggs. So only the female will come and bite you. The male will not bite you. So look at how they have taken picture. All are Aedes mosquitoes. Really, seriously. Female who needs blood for laying eggs. And if you're O blood group, you are the favorite. They come after you. Now, the mosquito will bite you. You can end up with Zika virus, a different kind of virus. It goes to the cells, migrates the lymph nodes, and then disassemble the multiple organs, tropism by nervous system. Chikungunya, it affects all your muscles and joints and things like the skeletal, musculoskeletal system. And then, of course, Aedes go to the liver, and it affects all your platelets. Very simple, very easy. You can die from any one of them. This is one of the dangerous. Chikungunya you can survive, but that guy, a bit different, it eats away. You have internal bleeding in the system. All because of a mosquito carrying this virus. It bites you, it bites somebody else, you can get the same sickness from that guy to this guy. Right. Now this is how they go. They go, it's a big cycle. They go, number one, virus replicates in the fibroblast, the dermis, and distributes to the bloodstream, and go to the bloodstream. From the bloodstream, it gets all attacked, and go to all the joints, and go all the way, liver and all. This is the chikungunya. So please understand, my friend, all this affects everything. Okay? So you can get headache, bone pains, this chikungunya, joint pain, nausea, vomiting, and there's no really cure for this. You have to go through and survive. So your immune system must come in front. So you have to take a rest and slowly come out of the whole thing. It's not that easy. Then comes your Zika virus, affect the baby's head. Look at what happened to the baby's typical size. Typical size becomes smaller and smaller. This is a normal child. And now it's coming. And these blood will go down there. You know, they go and attack all the pregnant mothers. Why pregnant mothers? Oh my God. You see how these guys are? One flood carries Aedes give dengue fever. One flood gives chikungunya. One flood just go to pregnant mothers and do this. What is this? Who is controlling all these guys? Telling them what to do. Why the pregnant mothers? Poor baby. How they all become. They grow like severe, very bad. Then from insects. Insects like what? All of these insects. They're biting the ticks. They bite the animal. They bite the cow. They bite the dogs and cats and even bats. Bats have teeth also. And then come down there and you get sick. They bite you something else, they bite the disease, and people are eating this. I don't know why. I don't know why they get by eating this. Go to Thailand, you can see a lot of these things. Grasshoppers and all. And these are all eating everything, So when you eat them, the virus may be dormant or bacteria can be inside you and go into your system. And then you go back home, you spread to your children and your neighbors and your friends, the working place, and it becomes a pandemic. One guy can start the whole pandemic. One guy who's not immune enough to kill that bacteria or the virus, and you go, you get up, and everybody is sick. Like this. Look at this. What is wrong with these people? Have they got food to eat? I think we must send them out to Madagascar. I think all these people who eat all of this kind of thing must send them to Madagascar. You know why? There are a group of people, there's no water, there's no rain, there's no land to cultivate. They're eating mud with tamarind juice. Eating mud, very fine mud, and they buy to eat. They put tamarind juice to make its flavor. They're eating sand. So sad, isn't it? So sad, isn't it? Look at so fried and all look, oh my God. What will happen here? Virus from monkey and other animals. You see? Monkeys. Monkey DNA is 99% similar to human DNA. So any virus goes down there, it gets mutated, it comes over here, will definitely get you. Will definitely. Like today, our COVID virus is not going to the animals. They have a different strain, they are managed. But the chicken flu can come to us. But imagine monkey with 9 names similar to that. HIV and Ebola is suspected to originate from the primates of the monkeys. Hard to say. Watch.
Ebola is a... Don't touch a friend. Look, do you guys ever worry about Ebola? Do you think that's real?
No.
It's not real.
The government said nobody should push me. If Ebola was here, nobody would be there.
No Ebola in Liberia.
Since February 2014, an outbreak of Ebola spread across West Africa, from Guinea to Sierra Leone, and now it's finally reaching the coast of Liberia and its capital, Monrovia. Confirmed by health officials, the deadly virus has already killed 7 people in Monrovia. Scientists speculate that a possible cause of the Ebola outbreak might stem from the prevalent consumption of bushmeat from animals like monkeys and fruit bats.
The snake.
The scientific concerns surrounding the consumption of bushmeat begin in our genes. Because we share 99% of our DNA with monkeys, the chances of an infectious and incurable disease like Ebola crossing over from a monkey to a human is exponentially higher than with any other animal.
Ebola is one of those words that you can say it anywhere in the world, and it invokes fear.
Take me through sort of the life cycle of the Ebola virus if someone catches it, if a person catches it.
So Ebola is what we know is a viral hemorrhagic syndrome. And so a syndrome is just like AIDS. Ebola is an aggressive hemorrhagic fever syndrome. Ebola in particular causes the walls of the capillaries to slightly separate and blood starts leaking. You'll get conjunctival injection, which is bleeding into the eye. That petechial hemorrhage and that leakage ultimately leads to shock and death, just like you would have with sepsis.
So you're bleeding out from the inside?
Basically, you're bleeding out from the inside. Your blood pressure is lowering to an amount, so when your capillaries are leaking, the blood is no longer being transferred through your body effectively. It is a very painful and agonizing death that no one wants to go through.
You cannot live, you die. You just die, my friend, you just die. Ebola. No way out, no surviving. You're bleeding from inside, you're bleeding from the eyes. Can you imagine? Some kind of horror movie, yeah? All coming from the monkeys. See what? These guys don't believe, they don't believe in that.
Defense against mysterious disease coming out of Africa.
Culturally, humans have evolved with non-human primates all throughout Africa and Asia. And I think something that we don't usually think of in the West is how that they evolved here. They're kept as pets. They're also used as a major food source, aka bushmeat. Now, a monkey is only one part of what you would consider bushmeat. A piece of bushmeat would be any animal coming from the forest. Again, most people don't kind of recognize the need for bushmeat. So when you imagine living in the deep forest of Central Africa and or Asia, it's very difficult to raise domestic animals, yet human beings by their nature need protein sources. So bushmeat in many parts of the world still is a necessary part of the diet. There are certain types of bushmeat which we know are more dangerous than others, and those particularly are birds, non-human primates, including the chimpanzees, gorillas, monkeys, bats, we're learning are of great concern.
But despite the danger, how does one of Liberia's top scientists feel about bushmeat?
I'll be very dishonest if I tell you, no, I ate bushmeat. The antelopes, they kill them, they dry them, and the meat comes to market. That's what I like most, yeah. I don't like monkey meat.
It turns out the very facility we were standing at has a rich history of pandemic disease. A chimpanzee testing facility in the 80s and 90s, it was here that a doctor named Preston Marks discovered HIV-2 in a local pet monkey in a nearby village. While HIV-1, the most common strain of the disease, was discovered to have come from chimpanzees as early as 1959, it was unclear where HIV-2, the less common but still deadly HIV, originated from, until Dr. Marks tested a sooty mangabey while working at the Institute in Liberia in the late 80s.
And I took this picture on my second trip of this young girl in Lofa County, it's over Liberia, and it's worth 1,000 words. I mean, look at it. I mean, that sooty mangabey, which is the species, the only species in West Africa that harbors the ancestor to HIV-2. And look at it. It's like it's like a cat. It's like a house cat. It's our friend.
Countries. In an attempt to stop the virus, the governments have banned the bushmeat trade. But Liberians have been ignoring the threat and the ban. In order to find out why, we met up with a local journalist. But turns out he harbored a few Ebola conspiracy theories himself.
Here's your friend. I'm interested in this Ebola thing because the feeling in Monrovia and across the whole country is that Ebola never came to Liberia.
Monkey's gone crazy.
Yeah, Waterside is the main market, and we are going to the market where they sell bushmeat and other food stuff.
Apparently the bushmeat shop is in the back. Oh shit, the smell is super putrid. So the Liberian government bans bushmeat. Totally, right? But you can still buy bushmeat.
You can still buy bushmeat because they are telling the Liberians not to eat it. And they're telling the marketeers not to sell it. But people are still selling it because they believe the government is pulling their legs.
All right, so why is the government of Liberia saying there's Ebola if there isn't Ebola?
Apparently, it's a scam to get some money from the international communities, from the donors. It's mainly so because the government is broke. Everybody knows that. The government was able to say that there was $16 billion investment here. They have nothing to show for it. So a lot of people don't believe that Ebola is here.
Official government policy was to ban the sale of bushmeat. However, as we hit the market, we learned how effective that prohibition actually was.
Ebola virus disease, or EVD. What you should know about Ebola. Ebola virus causes an acute and serious illness, which is often fatal if untreated. Ebola disease first appeared in 1976 in Nzara and Yambuku. Most severe cases of EVD in the current outbreak have been reported from Liberia, Sierra Leone and Guinea. It is thought that fruit bats of the Pteropodidae family are natural Ebola virus hosts. Infected bats are thought to transmit the disease directly to humans, or indirectly through other animals, which are hunted for their meat. Possible routes of transmission are close contact with the blood, secretions, organs, or other bodily fluids of infected or dead animals. Ebola then spreads from human to human via direct contact with the blood or bodily fluids of an infected symptomatic person, or indirectly through exposure to objects such as needles, clothing and bedding, medical equipment that have been contaminated with infected secretions. Since the mode of transmission is such, people most at risk are healthcare workers, contacts and family members of the patients, and mourners. The period of incubation of Ebola is from 2 to 21 days. During this period, there is no risk of transmission of disease. The early symptoms of Ebola closely mimic that of other diseases like the flu, malaria, and typhoid fever. The condition could worsen over a period of time, with the appearance of more severe symptoms. A few important points to note. Ebola is not waterborne or foodborne. Also, non-symptomatic individuals are not contagious. Sadly, till now there is no specific treatment for Ebola. The course of treatment advised involves IV to maintain body fluids, oxygen to ease breathing, medications to cure infection, antibiotics to prevent secondary infections, and intensive supportive care. As of now, there is no approved vaccine available for Ebola, hence calling for proactive prevention and control measures. When treating patients, healthcare professionals must wear protective gear and sanitize hands and medical equipment regularly. Even after recovery, Ebola patients should continue to follow infection control practices for at least another 2 months. Finally, it is extremely important to do contact tracing so as to restrict the spread of Ebola. With proper care, we can all work together to prevent and contain Ebola.
So imagine guys, how the disease are transferred from animals. So please be careful, huh? I'm telling you. You've got pet dog in the house, pet cat in the house, even chicken. Something can go along with them and they can affect you in some way. Right. Now, what do we do when animals are infected by a virus that can spread to humans? What do you do to them? Let's see what you do. Just get rid of them.
Amid the coronavirus pandemic, there is a concern on an outbreak of bird flu. It's been reported in 8 states, including Gujarat, Haryana, Madhya Pradesh, Kerala, Himachal Pradesh and Uttar Pradesh. Now, the state government said that avian influenza has caused deaths of hundreds of birds across these states. State governments have imposed prohibitory orders in areas where bird mortality has been reported, and they may go for culling of poultry. On December 27, hundreds of birds were found dead in Rajasthan's Jhalwar district. Similar scenes were also witnessed in Jaisalmer as well as in Jaipur. More than 1,900 migratory birds have died so far of avian flu in Himachal Pradesh. The Kangra district administration has now banned the sale of poultry items. As far as Kerala goes, authorities have ordered culling of ducks, hens and other domestic birds within 1 kilometer radius of the affected areas. This is in Kottayam and Alappuzha districts.
While humans are struggling with coronavirus, birds are facing a flu scare. On December 27th, hundreds of birds were found dead in Rajasthan's Jhalwar district.
बर्ड फ्लू के अभी राजस्थान में कुछ कंफर्म केसेस सामने आए हैं और उसको लेकर वन विभाग बेहद सचेत है और हम पूरा प्रयत्न कर रहे हैं कि इस बर्ड फ्लू जो बीमारी है ये जो वन जीव है हमारे पक्षी हैं उनमें न फैले।
The avian flu was not restricted to Rajasthan. In Bom Dam Sanctuary of Himachal Pradesh, nearly 2,000 birds fell to the H5N1 virus.
H5N1 ਜਿਹੜਾ ਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਸਟ੍ਰੇਨ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਉਹ ਬਰਡ ਫਲੂ ਦਾ ਮਿਲਿਆ ਹੈਗਾ ਤੇ ਇਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਹੁਣ ਉਹ ਏਰੀਆ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਗਵਰਨਮੈਂਟ ਆਫ ਇੰਡੀਆ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਨੋਟੀਫਾਈ ਕਰਤਾ ਗਿਆ ਹੈਗਾ 3 ਕਿਲੋਮੀਟਰ ਰੇਡੀਅਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹਰ ਪ੍ਰਕਾਰ ਦੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਐਕਟੀਵਿਟੀ ਉਹ ਕੰਟਰੋਲ ਬੰਦ ਕਰਤੀ ਗਈ ਹੈ।
The Kangra district administration banned sale of poultry items within 1 kilometer of the Bom Dam sanctuary and put a large area under surveillance. An alert was sounded in the wetlands of Tarantaran, Gurdaspur Nangal and Roopnagar after many birds were found dead there. As a precautionary measure, the UP government has alerted its health and animal husbandry departments and asked them to keep vigilant. The bird flu has also spread to central India. Madhya Pradesh reported as many as 400 bird deaths in the last 10 days. On Tuesday, Kerala declared state-specific disaster as bird flu cases spiraled. Kottayam and Alappuzha were the epicenter of the outbreak. Thousands of birds have been culled to stop the spread.
Thousands of birds have been killed to stop the spread. Thousands, huh? Now come this guy. Look at all the pigs. Swine flu. Jumping each other. They're all going to be buried alive because they're animals.
Amid the coronavirus pandemic, we have another virus to worry about, and that is the avian influenza or bird flu. And every time there's news about bird flu, the first question that people ask is it safe to consume poultry? Well, I'll be answering that in this video, but let me just tell you why first there is a concern again about bird flu. Several birds have been found dead. Migratory birds were found dead in Himachal's very famous Bom Dam sanctuary. About 2,500 birds were found dead. And then there were similar incidents reported in several states. For example, in Rajasthan, several crows were found dead. Similarly, in Kerala as well, in the districts of Kottayam and Alappuzha, birds were found dead, leading to fear that a bird flu outbreak had begun. So there were tests that were done which confirmed that yes, these birds carried avian influenza. Let me just explain to you what avian influenza is. It's referred to as the H5N1 virus. Now, this particular virus is a flu that spreads very fast among birds, very hugely contagious really among birds, and they almost always die of this virus. A lot of questions really about whether avian influenza or bird flu as it's commonly called actually can infect humans. Well, the answer is not really a no, but what you have to know is that much like we've been reporting about different strains of coronavirus, it's very similar in bird flu as well. There are two strains that can infect humans. One is the AH5N1 and the other is AH7N9. Now, both of these strains can infect humans. Now, what does it mean if humans can be infected? Well, if the strain of the bird flu infects humans, it can be fatal in some cases. But the symptoms mean flu-like symptoms. So it's very similar to coronavirus in that sense. If you're infected with bird flu, symptoms will show up in about 2 to 9 days. And it will mean a cold, it will mean pneumonia-like symptoms, you'll have problems breathing, etc. So a sore throat also is a very common symptom of bird flu. So it's a little difficult to distinguish between a normal cold, a common flu, now coronavirus, and also bird flu, which is why authorities now are on alert. Several states have issued a high alert against bird flu, issuing an advisory also to cull birds in that particular radius where bird flu has been detected. So I explained to you the symptoms that can be seen in humans if they're infected with bird flu. What is the treatment like? Is it a question of you just recovering like a normal flu at home? The answer is no. If someone is infected with bird flu, I mentioned that it's highly contagious, so that is a concern. Secondly, because of the symptoms, it almost always requires care in a hospital. As I mentioned, this can also be fatal. So usually when someone is infected with bird flu, it means that they will have to be hospitalized for treatment and to ensure that they test negative for bird flu. Now the most important question that's on everyone's minds, with now bird flu again emerging and cases among birds, not really in humans so far, is it safe to consume poultry? Well, what scientists have said so far is that you can consume poultry. There's no harm in consuming it. Remember that the way this spreads from birds to humans is by consumption. However, if poultry is cooked perfectly, it will kill the virus. Once you reach a certain temperature of heat, then it will kill the virus, which means it's safe to consume poultry. So if you are planning to still consume poultry, even as advisories in some states have been issued against it, remember to cook it very, very well. And that's the only way you can really kill the virus and ensure that you don't contract bird flu. Having said that, some state governments have already gone ahead and issued an advisory against the consumption of poultry, against the consumption of chicken, as well as eggs as a safety measure. But as I mentioned, no scientist or no research has said that you can't consume poultry. The advisory is against consuming raw poultry, ensuring that it is fully cooked before consuming it. So I hope that answers your question. Remember to stay safe. We're fighting a pandemic. Now there is a threat of bird flu, and while it hasn't been reported in humans, we have to ensure that it stays that way.
Okay. Can we do the same to human when you have an infectious disease? Infectious disease, can we do the human being? You kill all the pigs, you kill all the birds, kill all the chicken, poultry, all kill. Now human beings are everywhere getting things. What do you do with them? There have been many such pandemics since ancient time. There have been many such pandemics since ancient time. Some of them recorded, some of them not recorded. Okay? You look carefully. Some have been known to men since ancient time. This is a mummy. They took a mummy and the mummy has smallpox lesions in the mummy. That means the pharaoh died of smallpox. There are smallpox lesions everywhere in the mummy because the skin is still there. You could see that. So he must have died because of that. So imagine. So those days this is all with that. But today mankind have eradicated smallpox once and for all. There is no smallpox anymore in the Mother Earth. They have eradicated because every child at 1980s, they were all inoculated with smallpox vaccination. So now this no more. They're all fine now. So they don't need, no? This is all the Chinese one. 1720, the Japanese pictures of people having smallpox. It's all happening. Okay? Now this is also another drawing from an ancient time. All drawing to show exactly how it was. People didn't know what was it all, what was the cause of this thing. They never knew. They thought something like that. They never knew bacteria, virus of those days. Today we have a very good knowledge of all of these things. Those days they never knew. They said something came and he died. Maybe another guy, they went to touch him and he got it. Many people would have died those days. Like that. Huh? Now they are afraid that the ice is melting now. The ice is melting now. So they are afraid that some very ancient kind of virus will start coming out now. Very ancient kind of virus is coming out now. Okay? This is what happens. They're saying, ancient virus currently locked in Chinese glacier could be unleashed upon us if climate changes causes the ice to melt. Somewhere there, they still have found a lot of ice there. So if these things start to melt because the temperature of Mother Earth is getting higher by 2 or 3 degrees C, and they will start to melt. When they melt, this is what's going to happen. A lot of new viruses are going to come out, and a lot of things will go wrong. So that is the virus all down there, they're hiding. So look at this. This is the virus. This is the ice cap, all melting now. And scientists have found that a lot of viruses stuck in the cells of these things. Like that. Watch this.
It's hard to believe that something so tiny could destroy so many.
In just 2 years, this terrible plague was to claim over 20 million lives.
Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 worst epidemics in history.
10.
As for adults, those born before 1957 probably got the measles because there was no vaccine back then.
For this list, we're looking at plagues, pandemics, and other scourges of disease that spread through the human population like wildfire, killing millions.
The disease permanently scarred both his body and his mind.
we're not necessarily ranking them based on how many people were killed by the plagues, but those figures definitely play into our choices.
See what I do.
There were areas
Mr.
where
Guys.
outbreaks that occurred where
Mr.
the
Guys.
bat flu was not there to transmit, but nevertheless they had a bubonic plague outbreak.
Number 10, the third cholera pandemic.
By morning, my father was very sick. He had diarrhea that looked like rainwater and poured out of him.
The unlucky victims of this disease suffered through hellish final days, with diarrhea, vomiting, and resulting dehydration being the main symptoms.
This is the emergency area where the patient first comes if the patient has severe dehydration. Severe dehydration is a medical emergency.
With the most deaths of any 19th century epidemic, the third cholera pandemic began in India and spread across Asia, Europe, North America, and Africa to countries like Russia, where over 1 million people died.
So in a matter of days, you might have 10 people infected, then 100 people, then 500 people. 1 person in 5 will get severe diarrhea. Without quick treatment, up to half of those people might die.
However, it took an outbreak of this severity for the cause of cholera to be found. In 1854, British doctor John Snow discovered that tainted water was to blame, and it was this breakthrough that eventually allowed officials
Just
to
boil water,
control
that's
the
all.
cholera pandemic.
First, we made the water safe. We filtered it through cloth and boiled it for 1 minute.
Number 9, the Asian flu pandemic of 1957.
We all missed it. The military missed it, and the World Health Organization missed it.
Though it can be confirmed that this outbreak of the influenza A virus started in China, the exact origins of the virus are contested, with one popular theory suggesting that a mutation in wild ducks joined together with a typical human strain to create the new disease. One of 3 flu pandemics during the 20th century, this one was the least deadly, with estimated global death figures ranging between 1 and 4 million. And that's likely due to the fact that a vaccine was created in 1957 that helped stem the rash of infections from this avian flu.
And 40 million doses of vaccine by the time that the end of the year came.
Number 8, the World War I typhus epidemic.
Food was growing ever more scarce. The queues outside the bread shops stretched right down the length of the street.
Taking place during a time of incredible strife, this typhus outbreak was another devastating result of World War I, a disease caused by bacteria, whose symptoms include severe back pain and delirium. This particular outbreak originated with lice.
The perfect setup for epidemic. And then it struck. Typhus.
It was for this reason that delousing stations for the soldiers had been set up on the Western Front, which helped keep those troops healthy.
Next, the 40,000 Italians dwelling in the jam-packed air raid shelters were deloused.
However, the Eastern Front was not so lucky. By the time of its peak, between 25 and 30 million cases were reported across Soviet regions, with 3 million Russians and even more Poles and Romanians dying from infection.
In over 3 brutal years, 2,300,000 Russians have died. A further 5 million injured.
Number 7, Kokolitsli.
The Aztecs' crowning achievement was a gleaming capital city that astonished European explorers called the Venice of the New World.
This disease is categorized in a group of ailments called viral hemorrhagic fever, a family of illnesses that continues to attack humanity with viruses like Ebola.
It is in Monrovia's slums that Ebola is spreading fastest.
Affecting the Aztecs living in the region that would become Mexico twice in less than half a century, Kokolitsli decimated the population, infecting a group that was already reeling from other diseases brought to their shores by Spanish conquerors, and causing their numbers to dwindle by millions in less than a century. With symptoms that included a black tongue, dysentery, severe abdominal pain, and bleeding from your nose, eyes, and mouth, this Ebola-like epidemic annihilated what was once a thriving civilization.
The Aztec Empire had vanished, and with it, a legacy of astonishing engineering achievements.
Number 6, the Plague of Justinian.
This turns out to have been one of the most virulent pandemics in history.
A forebearer of a pandemic that will be featured later on this list, this plague is believed to have been brought to the Byzantine Empire and Constantinople specifically, by infected rats traveling from Egypt on grain boats.
Some citizens blamed the plague on the Empress Theodora, saying it was a punishment from God for her sexual promiscuity.
An event that likely changed the course of European and Christian history. The plague of Justinian left the Byzantine Empire short of healthy citizens who could act as laborers or militaries, meaning the empire was severely weakened.
Symptoms would begin with a sudden fever, followed by chills, vomiting, and an increased sensitivity to light.
With some suggesting that at its peak, the mortality rate of this plague took 5,000 lives each day. The first wave of this disease eradicated 40% of Constantinople's population and continued to kill through several more waves in the years that followed.
If the future looked bleak for Europe before, now it looked pitch black.
Number 5, the Antonine Plague. The earliest pandemic on this list, this scourge came to the Roman Empire by way of soldiers returning from fighting in Western Asia. However, what form it took is up for debate, with some thinking smallpox or measles were to blame.
Symptoms start out with coughing, runny nose, and a high fever of 104 degrees. The rash appears 3 to 5 days later.
Though it wasn't as deadly as Justinian, with only 2,000 dying in Rome per day at its pinnacle, and likely 5 million succumbing to the disease in total. The fact that it most probably claimed the lives of 2 Roman emperors, Lucius Verus and Marcus Aurelius Antoninus, served to plunge the land into fear and chaos, and likely changed the course of history.
And the emperor reaps the rewards.
Number 4, the third plague pandemic.
Every rat captured was examined for signs of disease. Anyone who brought in a rat, dead or alive, was paid 10 cents.
The third recorded iteration of the bubonic plague, after the plague of Justinian and the Black Death. This plague ravaged the world for over a century.
In 1900, San Francisco suffered a brief outbreak of plague brought in by rats on a boat from the Far East. Plague was now lurking in the sewers beneath the city.
Beginning with diseased rodents in China's Yunnan province in the 1850s and spreading to all populated areas of the globe thanks to the world's newly established interconnection, this pandemic killed 12 million. And that was just in China and India.
The bacillus spread quickly as it moved along trade routes in the blood of infected rats. With it came the plague.
Finally ending in 1959, when death rates from the disease dropped to roughly 200 according to the World Health Organization, this third plague pandemic allowed doctors and scientists to study the infection and test new treatments. Fortunately, that helped stave off another coming of the plague.
By the middle of the 20th century, the Black Death had been named and tamed. Plague could be treated with antibiotics. Rats could be exterminated.
Number 3, HIV/AIDS.
Over 50,000 men, women and children now carry the AIDS virus. That in 3 years, nearly 2,000 of us will be dead.
Theorized to have spread from primates to humans sometime in the 20th century, there was a case of an HIV-infected human in the Congo in 1959. But it wasn't until the early 1980s that the disease was detected and named in the United States, and the epidemic known as AIDS truly began to spread and define the subsequent decade.
Out there swimming, playing tennis, buffed, coming in, and we died. We're dead 10 days later.
Despite early ignorance that the disease was exclusive to homosexual males and intravenous drug users, AIDS attacked those who didn't take precautions indiscriminately and without mercy.
A positive diagnosis is still a life-altering experience. In Cambodia, people living with HIV are often disowned by friends, family, and the community where they live. This humiliation can be unbearable.
Fortunately, after over 30 years and over 36 million deaths, scientists have been making headway in terms of treatments and possible vaccines, although sub-Saharan Africa is still badly affected.
In Africa, there's a much higher prevalence of HIV, so your probability of it being exposed to someone who's infected is much greater.
Number 2, the 1918 flu pandemic.
It was the worst epidemic this country has ever known.
Various strains of the influenza virus have wreaked havoc on the world again and again. But there are two things that ensured this outbreak's inclusion. It afflicted 500 million people, killing between 50 and 100 million, and it mainly killed healthy adults.
Influenza gave you such high fever. Mother told me that I thought her black hair was a cat, and I was afraid of it was a delirium from the high fever.
Most flu viruses are dangerous for the very young, the very old, and the already weakened. But this strain of the H1N1 virus caused the immune systems of its victims to jump into overdrive and attack. And the healthier the immune system, the more violent the result.
And within a matter of months, as many as 50 million would be dead.
Affecting countries across the globe, as isolated as the Pacific Islands or the Arctic. The outbreak, nicknamed the Spanish flu, has been labeled one of history's worst natural disasters.
We still know much less than we'd like about influenza, but the experiences of the individuals who endured the pandemic of 1918 and the research into that pandemic continue to contribute to our understanding of the disease.
Before we reveal our top pick, here is an honorable, or in this case dishonorable, mention.
The United Nations-based agency raised its pandemic flu alert to phase 6 on a 6-point scale, indicating the first flu pandemic since 1968 is underway.
Number 1, the Black Death.
Few who caught the disease ever recovered. So rapidly did it spread that it seemed one man could infect the whole world.
Peaking in the 14th century but affecting Europe until the 17th, the Black Death is thought to have killed between 75 and 200 million people, which represented roughly 30 to 60% of Europe's entire population at the time.
In just 2 years, it had swept across Western Europe, spread north over to England, and then finally to Scandinavia.
Suspected by many to be a version of the bubonic plague that originated in infected rodents, this disease was most easily recognized by the tumors that covered victims' bodies. With so many dying so rapidly, bodies littered the streets as cemeteries were at capacity. While some governments attempted quarantines and some citizens turned to God for aid, there was very little that could be done to stop this infection.
Families were torn apart, villages deserted, business collapsed, states bankrupted by loss of taxes.
That doesn't even touch upon the horror of witnessing your loved one suffering, or the fear that you might be next.
After the Black Death, the plague returned to haunt Europe every few decades until the mid-17th century, though never again with the ferocity of that first outbreak.
Do you agree with our list? What do you think was the worst pandemic in the world's history? For more historic top 10s published every day, be sure to subscribe to WatchMojo.com.
I told him to always wash his hands with soap and safe water after going to the toilet.
So imagine, guys, rats can do so many things. Just plague, ticks, all insects and animals coming, biting people, carrying all the strains, and they don't die. They have the immune system. No, look at it. It's very sad what is going on in the world, and we don't seem to learn. Non-pandemic virus infection. It's all non-pandemic virus infection. Okay, one is polio. How many people are suffering because of polio? Unimaginable. Have you got any friends who got polio? It comes, the virus comes to you and attack the nervous system and attack one leg or two legs or both legs or just one leg. You know how many people are suffering? I have a classmate who had that. It's so sad. As they grow older and older, they become more difficult to walk. They cannot walk. It's so sad, so sad, Wish they had just died at that age, and not carry on until this age, Their body becomes big, the legs are not, they cannot walk. They have to push themselves so hard. I saw one lady who come for healing. It was very sad to see her, very sad to see her. It's come from the food that we eat, the feces. Somehow some feces get into the food or what, they go inside and they go and attack the motor neurons. And that's it. And once you go inside, your motor neuron does not send signal, then the whole leg doesn't grow. It doesn't move. So sad. Just like that, food. So children, see how? Join the march of dimes, paralysis with the fear. Polio. Young kids, they attack as they grow older and older, how life will be more difficult for them. Look at this. Children. Teaching how to walk. 5 years old. They never had a cure. Now, there's a cure, but the cure is not all over the world. In Africa, the cure has not gone there yet. Only on this part of the world. Some governments are rich, they can afford to buy. Look at the children. Just like that. Polio. Is it karma? I don't think it's even karma. How they grow up and make their living. Look. Polio immunization is here. All children game, I'm sure we all had this polio. I had classmates 1 year, they never had it, So sad. So imagine, then is HPV. Can someone say what's HPV? Human papilloma virus. Human papilloma virus. About 40 people are infected with HIV every year. 14 million people around the world. But it doesn't kill you. It doesn't kill you. It just sores here, sores there, can be really bad. But it doesn't kill you. But it's so difficult to treat them. So to treat, that's how the virus look like. So every flu is very funny, and they have their own shape and how they can move around and inject the thing into yourself and cause so much problem. And now this is the condition of your body, and it is spreadable. It's spreadable, it can get on somebody else. So how it enters the epithelium of the cell and go into the whole system and break the cell, and they go all over the body. It affects the skin, like that. In fact, the mouth, of the mouth ulcers, maybe you have something like that, By kissing, something happen. When you have sex with somebody else, only by touching and close to them. HPV infection, HPV wart, the legs, this also can be that, caused by human papilloma virus, the nails here. So you must be very careful, my friends. Hives by HPV, and also the ladies. Ladies, you must be very, very careful, ladies. Your cervical cancer, 70% are caused by this virus, HPV 16 and HPV 18. Cause 70% of the cervical cancer virus. Can you imagine? That's why, please keep it clean. I always have to keep it clean. Use a proper pad. That's why we have got vagina enema. I think we were the first people to sell this to people, First people in the world, I think. Of course, they call it douching. They go to the gynecology, they put something and they clean, It's very simple. After your period or whenever you can, just put some clean water and clean. So don't let anything stay back there. There will be food, especially after your period. When you have a period, a lot of blood stays there. And this can be food for all of these bacteria and viruses and white discharge. And when that happens, these guys can be there also. So take the one and you go check and see. Check your sex chakra and go and check. Do I have any virus active? If it moves, active. Then take the one, read forgiveness affirmation. Page number 9. Forgive the virus, and take the one and heal the sex chakra and go and heal the virus or whatever thing in this plant. This is the part where this thing, whole thing goes down there. And they'll take pap smear. They take a pap smear and they will check and see whether there's any virus there or not. So it's very, very, and sometimes they cannot do it in Malaysia. I don't know whether they can do it. Because I have one girl went to do a pap smear, and then this pap smear was sent to Australia. It took her 2 weeks to get back. And she was in so much of fear for the 2 weeks. Asking me, Siva, I said, there's nothing there, don't worry. No, Siva, I've never had anybody else. I only had sex with my husband. I don't need any big problem. I said, there's nothing there. The fear that you have because cervical cancer. And how do you go cervical? You can't even see these things inside you. So please, when we say, please get the enema and kill yourself. Nothing to be worried about. Sometimes I see people using the cup. The cup will hold the blood for some time. You may change the blood, the cup in 3 or 4 hours, you go and change, or 6 hours. But during time all the blood stays back and the blood becomes food for all of this thing. It's like a reservoir. The cup is like a reservoir. They use the cup like a reservoir. Now when I do a spleen arm test on all the cups, it all fail. And use a PVH pampers, PVH sanitary pad. It works very well. I check everybody, all the ladies are very strong. Because ours is breathable and it comes out, it doesn't sweat, it doesn't do a lot of things. So think about it, ladies. We are not simply selling this. We are not selling at a very great price. Very great price, We just want to make these people realize that we put a small card there, got period pain, you got any of this white discharge, please contact us, we will help you to heal this place, okay? And please get the vagina enema, the bowel enema, and do liver flush, clean the whole system. Very sad, my friend. See how it becomes. You know? See how this all can become. You see how cancer spread outside the cervix. The whole thing will be affected because the virus is eating all the thing. Put some water when you do the vagina enema, the water goes until there and clean the whole place and you flush it out. Right. So infected by human papillomavirus. The DNA integrates itself and goes up and develops the cells into a cancer form. So this is one form of cancer that can happen in the cervical and any parts of the other parts of the skin layer. Remember I was telling you guys, the skin layer starts all the way down and all the way up. You see now I have a skin here. The skin goes like that and goes like that, goes like that and goes into my mouth. The skin layer is open and it goes through my esophagus, goes all the way down to my stomach, the duodenum, and all the way small intestine line, and it comes out. It's open. The whole thing open. Anything can go inside and get stuck in between and get into the system. Next comes the breathing. The skin comes here, goes in my nose, and goes all the way to the trachea and goes to my lungs. It's exposed. Next comes your urine system. Your urine system is also exposed. Exposed right out to the kidney. So there's a lot of work the immune system has to do to make sure the bacteria or the virus don't get inside. Next, for the ladies, your cervical. Your cervical is open, your vagina is closing it there. That's why she's closing it tight close. And that's going all the way inside and going to the uterus and going to the fallopian tube and going out into the ovaries. It's all exposed. That's the skin. And these guys will attack the skin. They will go through they'll go through inside. So please keep it clean. It's very important to understand that. The private part. Look at this. Even the male and female, you both can be affected by papillomavirus. The male side and the female side. Next, we call it genital warts. Can also happen to the male and female. So please be careful. The vulva, the cervix, the female around the anus, all. Cleanliness is very important, my friend. Especially for ladies, during the time when you have a period. Got to wash properly. Next, today's man has eradicated smallpox virus totally. It's gone. Polio in some areas only, not totally. In Africa, it's not totally gone. Maybe they have no money to buy the vaccine or what. But there is vaccine for this papillomavirus. There is vaccine. It's very expensive. It's $200 US now in US. So in Malaysia, I don't see that virus. If you want, you get it. But people like us, I never got it before. But in the US, why they get it? Because of all the food style and everything else. Their food style is not so good. They eat all the wrong food, rich, and all the food is not properly cooked, barbecue and all kind of stuff. Well, the sausages and all will affect you in many, many different ways. Like that. So today, smallpox is eradicated and many other polio. Some pandemic known to man. Spanish flu, they might talk about Asian flu, Hong Kong flu, swine flu, in between bird flu coming avian and this and that coming in between, MERS, Middle East respiratory syndrome, and then now we got our good guy.
Long story short, virus.
Yes.
Authorities are worried about an increase in cases of a virus known as Middle Eastern Respiratory Syndrome, or MERS. What is this disease, and how serious it is? MERS is a respiratory disease caused by a virus from the same family as the SARS virus, which created a global scare in 2003. MERS was first identified in Saudi Arabia in 2012, and since then, it has infected more than 500 people. Of those, 145 have died. What are the symptoms? Most cases of MERS start with fever, cough, and shortness of breath, but it can develop into pneumonia. Severe cases cause respiratory or even kidney failure. Scientists don't know exactly how people contract the virus, but they suspect that contact with animals, mainly camels, might be the cause. Between humans, the disease seems to be transmitted by close interaction. especially if people don't take preventive measures, like washing their hands or wearing a face mask. Should I be worried? Not for the moment. Although the US, France, and more countries have reported cases of MERS, according to the World Health Organization, none of the patients appeared to have spread the contagion. All of the infected patients were coming from the Arabian Peninsula, but for the moment, no travel restrictions have been announced. Is there a cure? Not yet. Scientists don't know enough of the virus to develop a treatment. Health authorities are gathering data to develop a cure, but it'll probably take years before it's ready. Meanwhile, scientists have recommended people in Saudi Arabia to avoid products like raw camel milk and meat. Also, health workers should be extra careful with their hygiene if they come in contact with patients that have the symptoms. What else is being done? The WHO advised other Middle Eastern countries and the international community to monitor the flights coming from Saudi Arabia, watching out for possible carriers. But it stopped short of declaring it an international public health emergency. Long story short, the MERS virus is a health concern with serious implications, but it hasn't spread widely, and the authorities and the public have the tools to stop its spread.
Yeah, I heard about the oil spill in Mexico.
Yes, it's big and it's growing because they don't have infrastructure to really hold it. Apparently it was a pipeline that takes it from one side. It's not a boat, it's a pipeline that got busted open. Poor Gulf of Mexico, sir. May we help the nature beings there, sir?
We'll do something about it. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, dear.
There's an oil leak in the Gulf of Mexico and causing a lot of black oil coming into the Gulf. So imagine how difficult to clean all this oil. Oil. So dark, it's going to kill a lot of turtles and a lot of fish and all the dolphins and whales. Someone told me they're already dying. The whales are already dying down there. Whales are already dying. Dolphins dying. Tell all these dolphins all the mammals to fly. Go away. We'll do something about it. Okay, right now. Now we're going to watch this video before we end the class.
In 1918, a new
2018. 100 years started. Look at how they were. Same thing, influenza.
1918
different name.
Caused the global deaths of probably 50 and maybe up to 100 million people.
50 to 100 million people died. They have no idea.
Disaster in all of recorded human history.
Influenza virus, the same virus now, just called COVID, that's all.
Dr. Jeffrey Taubenberger has been studying the 1918 flu for decades.
Most people who had influenza in 1918 had a completely typical course of influenza, like you would see today. But in 1918, a really unusually high number of people ended up having very severe illness, meaning that they actually developed a pneumonia, an infection of their lungs, that started out as a viral pneumonia and then rapidly progressed in most cases to a secondary bacterial pneumonia. They had no way to treat the viral infection, they had no way to treat the secondary bacterial infections, so these people were just really left, in a sense, to suffer. And this process, from initial onset of infection to death by bacterial pneumonias, usually took around 10 or 11 days.
Ordinarily, influenza is most deadly in the very young and the very old. But as Dr. David Morens explains, the 1918 virus was unusual.
The two things that were different in 1918 is the deaths in all those age groups were more than they had been in other pandemics that we had seen, and that there was a very high rate of death in people between the ages of 20 and 40, which had never been seen before and which had never been seen since.
To find out why the virus was so lethal, Dr. Taubenberger and other scientists retrieved samples of lung tissue preserved in paraffin from soldiers that had died of the flu. Eventually, with the help of tissue recovered from frozen bodies in Alaska, Dr. Taubenberger's team was able to reconstruct the 1918 flu virus.
Unfortunately, when you look at the genome of the virus and just compare it on paper to other influenza viruses, nothing obvious really pops out at you as to why it would behave this way. And yet we know that this virus is a really virulent pathogenic virus. And one of the things the 1918 virus did, it does in experimental animal models, and there's data to say that this is what happened in people, is that it induced a really strong and very unusual kind of inflammatory response, so that the body's response, immune response to the virus itself, contributed heavily to lung damage and pathology, and probably contributed to serious illness and death. So it's this very unusual inflammatory response that's one of the key active research focuses of my laboratory, to understand why the 1918 virus induced that, and what perhaps we could do in the future to try to develop drugs that might target or limit aspects of the inflammatory response as a way of treating severe viral infections.
The World Health Organization has declared the novel coronavirus outbreak a pandemic. A pandemic is the worldwide spread of a disease. Throughout history, many disease outbreaks have ravaged humanity. Here's the list of some of the major pandemics that have occurred since the 20th century. The Spanish flu, or the 1918 flu, was one of the worst pandemics in the history. It killed around 50 million people across the world. Spain was one of the earliest countries where the epidemic was identified. Spain freely published early accounts of the illness, as it did not enforce strict censorship of its press, unlike other nations. As a result, people falsely believed the illness was specific to Spain, and hence the name Spanish flu. The Spanish flu pandemic was caused by an influenza A virus known as H1N1. Due to unavailability of vaccine or antibiotics, the control efforts were limited to non-pharmaceutical interventions such as isolation, quarantine, good personal hygiene, use of disinfectants, and limitations of public gatherings. By the summer of 1919, the flu pandemic came to an end. The Asian flu was first identified in February 1957 in China, and it subsequently spread worldwide. The Asian flu was caused by a virus known as influenza A subtype H2N2 or Asian flu virus. The virus spread to the United States by June 1957, where it caused about 70,000 deaths. Around 1 million to 2 million deaths were reported worldwide. The rapid development of a vaccine against the H2N2 virus and the availability of antibiotics to treat secondary infections limited the spread and mortality of the pandemic. The Hong Kong flu was a global outbreak of influenza that originated in China in July 1968 and lasted until 1969 to 1970. The Hong Kong flu was caused by a virus known as influenza A subtype H3N2, also called Hong Kong flu virus. Although a vaccine was developed against the virus, it became available only after the pandemic had peaked in many countries. The Hong Kong flu resulted in an estimated 1 million to 4 million deaths. Most excess deaths were in people 65 years and older. Human immunodeficiency virus, or HIV, attacks the immune system. Scientists identified a type of chimpanzee in West Africa as the source of HIV infection in humans. Though HIV arrived in the United States around 1970, it didn't come to the public's attention until the early 1980s. Persons who are infected with HIV often die from secondary infections or cancer. Since the 1970s, 75 million people have been infected with HIV and up to 32 million have died. AIDS is the final stage of HIV infection. Now, HIV has become a manageable chronic health condition, enabling people living with HIV to lead long and healthy lives. Severe acute respiratory syndrome, or SARS, appeared in November 2002 in China. It is caused by a coronavirus known as SARS coronavirus, or SARS-CoV. SARS is a highly contagious respiratory illness characterized by a persistent fever, headache, and bodily discomfort, followed by a dry cough that may progress to great difficulty in breathing. The World Health Organization has reported 8,096 cases of infection and 774 deaths so far. There is no specific medication available against the SARS coronavirus. The treatment is usually restricted to easing the patient's symptoms until the illness has run its course. A SARS patient is either quarantined or advised to remain isolated. The H1N1 flu or swine flu of 2009 was the first major influenza outbreak in the 21st century. It was noted for its rapid global spread, which was facilitated by an unusually high degree of viral contagiousness. The H1N1 influenza virus was first detected in the United States in April 2009. This virus was originally referred to as swine flu because its gene segments were similar to influenza viruses that were identified in pigs. Scientists developed a vaccine to protect humans from H1N1 after the 2009 outbreak. Now, there are antiviral medicines and vaccines available to prevent or treat swine flu. Middle East Respiratory Syndrome or MERS is an acute viral respiratory illness. The illness was first observed in June 2012 in Saudi Arabia. Soon, it was reported in 27 countries across the world. MERS is caused by a coronavirus known as MERS-CoV, which attacks the respiratory system. No vaccine or specific treatment for MERS is currently available. However, there are several vaccines for MERS in development. Treatment is supportive and based on a person's clinical condition. Ebola outbreak of 2014-16 in West Africa was noted for its unprecedented magnitude. The actual numbers of cases and deaths, however, were suspected to be far greater than reported figures. The causative virus was a type of Zaire Ebola virus known as EBOV, which is the deadliest of the Ebola viruses. Currently, there are no licensed vaccines to prevent Ebola virus disease.
So guys, you guys know, right? Now it's all about animals. Get to us. Stop eating all these funny animals. We don't need them. Have a good life. Exercise. So now we have what we have now is a COVID-19. And now COVID-19. So we will continue. This is tomorrow. And we will go straight to the blessings right now. We had an urgent question today. Madam Padmavati wrote, person name is Subarao. He's having AIDS and TB. They're reading affirmation daily and healing for the past every 2 hours. From today morning, shingles is spread very fast around the neck, face, to entire body. Please bless him. Madam, how long have you been doing, madam? This guy got lots of dark energy, madam. Make him sit down a short while, please, madam. Make him sit down a short while. We remove the dark energy first. Very dark, madam, and inner world connection. That's the one going to kill him right now. HIV is not going to kill him. This dark is going to kill him. Make him sit down and we start helping him. Okay, madam? Okay, remember guys, please awaken, keep your thoughts awaken, feeling positive thought, don't leave your mind vacant, do something, learn something. I'm sure today we all learn by another two, I think got two more, part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4. We got 4 parts. We're going to spend some time to understand the virus, so then the virus will be happy with us and say that you guys understand me. So let's be nice to him. Okay, let's be nice to be, let's look at it in a very holistic way. Man has done so much of harm, and so much harm that nature is fighting back with us. Nature will start all over again, just a matter of time, but not the way we want it to be, okay? Right. We'll move on. Donate so the PVH can, every woman we're teaching, we want to meet, we want to help and reach everyone in every country. Removing a block, child block, marriage block, cross block, network. And somebody just asked me just now, to have students block, student study block. Okay, madam, we'll do student study block also, okay? So let all the students sit down today, and this time we'll do block, okay? So all of you, please, we're going to remove all the blocks and do whatever we can. So all of you, please get ready now. Out! Have your healing wands, please. Newcomers, have your wands. Newcomers at page number 7. Please, newcomers, page number 7. Otherwise, all of you put the wand in front of you, right? We're going to start now. Let's start. Okay, guys, what we're going to do now, we will take this out and send it to you all. We hope that you can at least play this once or twice, 1, 2, 3 times a day in your home, so that everybody can share it and share with people. Just play and just sit down and hold the wand and do exactly what you're supposed to do. Do not worry about it, just follow my talking. Try to say the same words and do whatever you can. Okay, guys? So thank you very much for joining us today. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That's God's blessing be with everybody. Thank you, thank you. And Mother Earth, play the most important role. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Have the wand with you, whatever the wand that we had earlier. For mass balancing, we go to the special blessing for the wand now. Okay, have it now. And we will this blessing now, we will take this blessing and we will share with everybody. So please have it available. Pray it whenever you can. Like we have the one for the rain and one for the mothers. So please play this as much as you can. I will give you a number of times that you have to put it on. So please put it on, and we will start to do the blessing of coronavirus. You guys, so I ask all of you cooperate. Also share this video. Just play if you can. Take the wand at that time and sit down at that time and put the wand. So all of you, please take the wand now. You can bless your wand and proceed with the blessings right now. Okay, right. Or sit down, the healing wands, please in front of you. Hold the wands in front of your Ajna chakra. Can be more than one. You can share with somebody else. please. Put in front. I am a being of divine fire. I am the purity God desires. My soul is soul of divine fire. My soul is the purity God desires. I am a being of divine fire. I am the purity God desires. My soul is the soul of divine fire. My soul is the purity God desires. Mother Earth, son of divine fire. Mother Earth is the purity God desires. The soul of Mother Earth, the soul of divine fire. The soul of Mother Earth is the purity God desires. Supreme God, divine Father, divine Mother, make you an instrument of His blessings. Make me an instrument of His blessing. Let the divine fire go through me, blaze away and burn away all the negative energy that's coming from each and any part of Mother Earth and beyond Mother Earth that's causing all of this problem today. Let the divine fire go to each and every coronavirus on Mother Earth. Let there be blessings of coronavirus. Bless each and every virus on Mother Earth, including coronavirus, to go back to Mother Earth and be in peace. I, on behalf of mankind, my family, my company, or whoever it is, I ask forgiveness of whatever wrong we have done towards you and Mother Earth in any form, even to all the nature beings of Mother Earth. Let God's blessing be with each and every of Mother Earth. Let it go deep into this place, blaze away and burn away and remove all the negative energy supporting this current situation that we are going through today. It's like that. Let it go, blaze away and burn away, blaze away and burn away completely. Keep on doing, guys. Keep on doing this now. Keep on doing now. Coronavirus is of divine fire. Coronavirus is purity God desires. All the nature beings of coronavirus are nature beings of divine fire. All the nature beings of coronavirus are the purity God desires. All the viruses are viruses of divine fire. All the viruses of purity God desires. All the nature beings, all the viruses are beings of divine fire. All the nature viruses of to all the nature beings of Mother Earth, the ocean, the sky, the land, the wind. Please bear with us. Whatever wrong we have done, please help us out in this situation right now. Let it go deep into this place, blaze away and burn away all the negativity supporting this pandemic that's happening right now. And divine fire be this place. Divine fire blaze away and burn away all the negativity that's currently happening and will happen and support all of this pandemic going on right now. That's God's blessing be with this place, or the divine being with this place. Just keep on doing, my friends, just keep on doing that right now. That's God's blessing be with this place. That's God's blessing be with all the wives of Mother, especially coronavirus. God, thank you, thank you, thank you. Let each and every drop of water become the divine fire, blaze away and burn away all the negativity, and blaze away and burn away all the power that's supporting all this coronavirus from happening. That's God's blessing be with him. Let it go to the Father of the solar plexus, the solar system, our Son, our Son is star of divine fire, our Son is the purity God is there. Our Son, the star of divine fire, our Son is the purity God. Let the prana go with each and every of these viruses and do the necessary thing to denature them. Do not make them lesser and lesser active, and don't make them active. Let whatever happens, we accept what's happening. The Father of the Son, please go deep into each and every virus. Let the prana goes to them and deactivate all the viruses' genetic code and let it become normal. Let God's blessing, let it be a normal virus that's happening before that we become it. Let it stop all the mutation that's happening to them. Let the divine fire be with each and every viruses. And God, thank you, thank you, thank you. I am a being of divine fire. I am the purity God inside. My soul is soul of divine fire. My soul is the purity God. Mother Earth, thank you, thank you, thank you. To all the nature beings of Mother Earth, thank you, thank you, thank you. To all the nature beings of the virus, thank you, thank you, thank you. God, we sincerely ask forgiveness of whatever wrong that we may have knowing or unknowing done in this lifetime and lifetime about this, for this. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All of you guys, put the one in front of your Ajna chakra and just quietly repeat some very important. Thank you, thank you. Some very important people have come today. Some very important high-level beings have come today. Just put down there, say, I, my family, and my country is asking forgiveness of whatever wrong we may have done, knowingly or unknowingly in this lifetime and lifetime before this. We're going to say, I, my family, and my country are asking forgiveness of whatever wrong we may have done, knowingly or unknowingly in this lifetime and lifetime before this. Just say that, please, all of you. Put a one in front of the Ajna and start saying that now. Something I have to do now. We ask you for forgiveness of whatever wrong we may have done to any form, to Mother Earth, in all the nature beings of this lifetime and lifetime before this on Mother Earth. Please forgive us. We ask forgiveness for whatever wrong we may have done to all the Mother Earth nature beings, the smallest and to the biggest. Please forgive us. We humbly ask you to have mercy on whatever happening in the citizens of the whole world today. I'm sure we have done, there's a lot of pandemics that happened before, and I'm sure there was a reason for all of these things. We ask forgiveness of whatever wrong that we have done. Please guide us. Please show us the path in whatever way necessary to make changes to Mother Earth. Please guide us and please help us right now. God, thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, put hands on, please. So please forgive me, Mother Earth, to all the living Mother Earth. We humbly ask, take your wands out, please. Put in front. Put in front. To all the native beings of the Gulf of Mexico, please direct all the sea life, sea creatures back to the open sea and get away from this place. There's a lot of oil being spilled down there and it will be hurting you so badly. Please go away from this place. Go down to the south. Go down to the south and be safe there. Let mankind clear the mess they have created. You are not at fault. I humbly ask you to go down to all the nature beings of the Gulf of Mexico, to all the nature beings of all the sea creatures down there. Please go, take them all down, 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 make them safe, especially all this one that need to have to come to the surface to breathe. The turtles, the dolphins, the waves, whatever shape they are, take them down, go downstairs, down, 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 so they'll be safe from the let the waves push all the oil back to land and not beyond the ocean. Let it go, let all the waves push all the things, let all the wind, nature beings of the wind, nature beings of the sea, the ocean, the Gulf, push all the oil back to Mother Earth, so Mother, they can clean it up later on, but not discharge, don't discharge back in the ocean and dirty the ocean. Let it go inside. That's God's blessing. The Gulf of Mexico is the Gulf of divine fire. The Gulf of Mexico is the purity God is said. The Gulf of Mexico is the Gulf of divine fire. The Gulf of Mexico is the purity God is said. All the nature beings of the creatures there are beings of divine fire. All the nature beings of the creatures there are the purity God. God, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Now you put one here. Supreme God, divine Father, divine Mother, to my highest soul, spiritual guide, I humbly ask each and every one of my beings, my guides, to remove all the blocks which I may have knowingly, unknowingly put forward in this lifetime or lifetime before this. Let it be blocks of prosperity, let it be blocks of marriage, blocks of the current marriage I am in, whatever it is. Remove all the blocks and let it show me the path and guide me so that I can be, so that I can bring oneness and goodness to Mother Nature and all the nature beings of earth. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I am a being of divine fire. I am the purity God inside. My soul is the soul of divine fire. My soul is the purity God. Mother Earth, son of divine fire. Mother Earth is the purity God. God, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Somebody very important came today. I cannot mention the name. They've come and gave a blessing. Let's see what happens from now on. Okay? Thank you all of you for joining us today. Thank you, thank you. It's a very special day today. Thank you all of you. Maybe one day I will reveal what happened today. Anyway, thank you, thank you, thank you all you guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Ow. Okay guys, see you guys tomorrow morning at 9:30 for bed yoga. Okay guys? See you guys tomorrow for bed yoga. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you very much, my friends. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I hope you enjoyed the class today. So I think we cannot finish one class. We got 2 more classes to go there. Because we had 200 over something. We only finished about 70 or 80, I think. So we've got lots more to go. Okay, anyway, thank you very much. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Whoa, 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 whoa. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much. See you guys tomorrow morning. I have not have a topic for tomorrow morning. Okay, tomorrow morning we will sense crystals. So have you all the crystals you have, and we also clean the crystals tomorrow, and we will teach you how to check whether you're sold. So tomorrow morning at 9:30 we start with the bed yoga and the self healing. At 10 o'clock sharp we will start doing the one on the crystals. So I got a lot of crystals with me. So we'll show you what are the crystals, what kind of energy they have, and how they all work. Okay. So thank you, my friends. Thank you.